Is somebody in there? Oh, welcome! Welcome to the Arts Ambassador Capstone. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's good to see you. I hope you stay for the entire event. My name's Andy. I'm the art teacher here at Fast Forward, and it was my pleasure to work with Isaiah Barrett and Daxton Hansen this year as Arts Ambassadors for the Fine Art Department. And what a year it's been! And here we are with our digital edition of the Arts Ambassador Capstone. You will hear from Daxton Hansen and Isaiah Barrett tonight, who represented, like I said, the art department and all their tales of wonder, and see some of their artwork. So here they are. Give a big hand to Daxton Hansen and Isaiah Barrett.
Hello everybody, my name is Isaiah Barrett and I am one of the arts ambassadors for my school, Fast Forward. As we know, the COVID-19 epidemic has been a bit rough, but I am really proud that I am an arts ambassador and that I'm able to provide my own art to my family, to my school, and even to the community itself. Next, I want to show 3 of my most important artworks that I've done throughout my ambassadorship. So, with this one, it was something I worked on for a bit. It went to a show down in Ogden, the Eccles Theater, and I really enjoyed working on it. I mean, it basically described me and my emotions and how I wanted to put them on. I just felt okay at the moment, so I wrote it down. Next, this one was how I got into my ambassadorship. So the theme for the ambassadorship was overcoming adversity. And people kept thinking adversity was one thing. So I put it out that there were more, as in financial adversity, emotional adversity, and others. And I really enjoyed working on it. And we went down to the Cash Venue Theater and displayed it and introduced ourselves as ambassadors to the community. And finally, the one that I've just finished, the capstone. So with the capstone, I wanted to feel something, since we're in this quarantine, I wanted to feel like there was more than just sitting around and doing nothing when you're, stuck in a bubble or something like that. I wanted to make it look peaceful, calm, Being stuck inside something isn't really, the end of the world. It's just the beginning. Now, I would like to talk about the community aspects of our ambassadorship. At first, yes, it was a bit hard. I mean, we were new to this, and it was hard at first, but during the way, we've been learning how to organize things such as our supplies and the papers that we've been given. And we've also been meeting our deadlines on time and figuring that out a lot more. And I really enjoyed that, and it really helped us out. But we've also been doing other things, such as going to Bear River Charter School. We went there and we taught the elementary students there about comic book art. We taught them how to use the pens, the inks, the Sharpies, the paper, everything. And I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it because, it was basically us teaching others something about our own personal art. Like, how we did it isn't the same as theirs, but I really enjoyed it. Next, we did a show out in Logan for Even Stevens. We hung up our artwork and we basically let it sit up there for a week. And then at the end, we bought some food. We had people come over to look at it. It was a really fun time. Everyone enjoyed it and it went really well. Next, we did a National Dinosaur Monument drawing, paper actually, and it went really well. They posted it online. It was amazing. There were little kids who participated, and I enjoyed it because, it was something different. It really challenged me a bit during this time. And finally, I've been working on um, I've been working on a palette for Little Bear River, and they have stands out there by the rivers that we're able to put our artwork in. I decided to use a palette instead of the paper that they were going to provide me because I wanted to get challenged a bit. It's the final thing, so I wanted to use it as a challenge. Oh, but I enjoyed it because, well, cut.
No, keep going.
Why?
Because I almost done.
Okay, I decided to take the palette because it challenged me. I had to use different types of paints. I've had to use different types of art techniques, and I've also had to learn
What did you draw on it? What did you draw on it?
Well, I decided to draw a skull, a deer skull, inside of a dream catcher. And I used different paints, colors. There's pine trees on the side. There's a river going in between and a sunset in the back. And I think it looks pretty good. And I really enjoyed it. Basically, it means something natural, It's nature. Little Bear River was wanting to do something about nature and how, yes, during this epidemic, we can pull through. And I decided to take that challenge upon me to make it look as best as I could. I want to thank all of you for joining me in this, and I'm really proud for my teachers and the principal here, Jill. She's amazing. She's been helping me throughout this whole ambassadorship, as well as my art instructor, Andy. He's been really helpful teaching me new art techniques and other things like that. And for the staff, the teachers, the members, the students, basically everyone. And I want to thank you all for joining me. Have a good day.
Hello, my name is Daxton Hansen. I am an art ambassador at Fast Forward Charter High School. I became an ambassador because I guess I was just drawing for a coping method already, and just doing that as my therapy. And then Andy Lorimer, the video guy, actually told me I should become an ambassador. Being an ambassador, I guess you get to do a lot of cool stuff. You get a lot of cool opportunities. Like our very first trip, we went to an elementary school to teach students how to draw, or to give them an understanding, I guess. And that was challenging though, because it's a skill gap, and considering we've never been teachers before, we had to really push ourselves to, I guess we just really had to close the gap with them and kind of meet our skill with their skills, and go back and forth with them, teach them these tricks and tips and stuff like that. That was really fun. We did a few art shows. Our first one was actually in Ogden, and that one was for our tiny artwork, where we had to draw small. That was fun because that pushed us out of our boundaries. I went away from my markers and just used my pens only, and I did a style that I don't really do a whole lot, and I ended up actually liking that style, and now it's one of the things I do a lot now. And that was a lot of fun. I ended up making one of my favorite art pieces that I donated to the school. I didn't sell it, unfortunately, but that was a lot of fun. And then our next art competition, this one was interesting. I had never painted before, but I wanted to paint for this one because it was for the state senate, and it was actually going to the Capitol building. And I never painted anything before. I never used watercolor, nothing like that. So that was way out of my comfort zone, I guess. And I actually won in 4th place. And so I got to go down there, and we met a couple senators. My painting hung up there for a while. And then later on, a former senator actually bought it. So And then we had another competition, the Dinosaur Museum. And that one was easily my least favorite. They sent us this weird clothy canvas thing, and I mean, my markers didn't work, none of my pens worked. I had to use acrylic paints for it, and again, I don't paint, never. And for the head, actually, I tried to use markers at first, and that's how I formed the head. And then the whole rest of the body was acrylic paint. And that one, I think, is still sitting in the Dinosaur Museum, actually, up in Idaho, I believe. I'm not sure where, because I went to a couple different museums. That one was pretty cool, but that was easily my least favorite. Yeah, I didn't like that one at all. And then, as ambassadors, we also held our own event at Even Stevens. We held our own gallery. That one was a lot of fun. We went there, we hung up some of our favorites, or most of our pieces, I guess. And we hung those up, and then we held our own catering and had our friends and family come. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I was very pleased with how that one turned out. It was unexpected on how many people showed up. And some of my favorite pieces was my Bad Vibes for Everyone. This one was a realistic drawing of an artist who goes by XXX Tentacion. And I just was very pleased with how this one turned out, because I never tried any realism with my markers or anything like that. And I was very shocked. And the end result, I was really pleased by it. And that one was a lot of fun. That one led to a couple more just like it. And that branched out and just experimenting, I guess. And I don't know, it kind of turned into something that I wouldn't expect I'd ever be doing. And another one of my favorite pieces, there's two drawings, but I consider them both the same. It's like a clown and a ghost dancing, and then there's the ghost turning into the clown, and the clown turning into the ghost. I just really like the black and white to it, and the balance between the two. And when they were in frames, in their white frames, they just, I don't know, they looked really good with each other, and became one of my favorites. For the future of my drawing, I have, I guess, a couple I'm working on. I have 2 posters, and they're just massive collages, and they're becoming one of my favorites as well. But I'm working on those, and then I have a couple more ideas for the future as well. And I mean, who knows where I'll go. I'd just like to say thank you to the school and Jill, our principal, for this opportunity. I mean, it was a lot of fun. And I'd like to say thanks to Andy Worrell. I mean, he's a great mentor. And for next year's ambassador, my only advice is have patience. It's tough.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Conger, and I am the music and audio technology teacher at Fast Forward Charter High School. And tonight, I am very pleased to present the work of Samuel Maxwell and Lydia Conger as our music ambassadors for 2020. This year has definitely been the year of overcoming obstacles. As you all know, this has been strange times, but I have been really impressed with both Sam and Lydia's ability to navigate through all of these crazy last couple of months and keep their projects together and really wrapping things up really well. I think you're going to be impressed with their presentations and the quality of their work. I do want to say with both Lydia and Sam, In addition to being fantastic music ambassadors this year, they both are graduating this school year with over a year of college already under their belts. And these college classes they have taken in addition to all of their regular classes at Fast Forward. Additionally, both of these students, Lydia and Sam, have got 4.0 GPAs, and they are Fast Forward's valedictorian students this year. And so you'll see them speaking at our online graduation as well. And so, really, these are a couple of really amazing students, and I have been super privileged to be able to work with both of them this year. Before the quarantine happened, they both pretty much just lived in the studio. If they weren't taking a college class or some other recording or some other required class, they were in my studio. If I had a class going on, like a music performance class, they were probably in there jamming out with the students, even though they weren't officially in the class. And not only were they jamming out, they were like critically helpful in pulling off those performances and participating in them. If I had a recording class come in, I had Sam and Lydia both come in and help, just be mentors and with my students that were just learning the ropes. And then in addition to that, they'd stay after school and jam. They'd come in while I was doing my prep and they'd record stuff. So really just all around, they just amazed me with their quality of work and their dedication to not just being fantastic musicians, but being fantastic students and really great examples of what it means to be a fast forwardian. So, with all of that, I give you the work of Sam Mikesell and Lydia Conger.
I'm Samuel Mikesell, and I'm one of the music ambassadors this year for Fast Forward. I grew up in Logan, and I've been playing music since I was 10. I picked up the guitar as my main instrument my freshman year of high school, and once I started at Fast Forward, I heavily involved myself in the audio and music department. The first half of the school year, I performed at several events with Lydia Conger, the other music ambassador, including at the Canned Food Drive finale and the Fast Forward talent show. Shortly after winter break, I started volunteering as an instructor at Good Time School of Music. After I played at their open house, I continued to volunteer there until statewide restrictions prevented the classes from continuing in person. While volunteering at Good Times, I began the project that would become my album, titled Are We Ever Ready? I wrote, recorded, and mixed all of the songs on the album, as well as a few others I plan on finishing and releasing later this year. Dan Fields and Lydia both play on the album, with Dan on the drums and Lydia on bass guitar. Here's a little bit of a song off the album called Mask of Serenity. This song was written as a experimentation with contrast, and after a minute of experimenting with the idea with Dan, I decided to record it and put it on the album. Soon after, in collaboration with a couple of students from the Advanced Audio Studio class, Lydia and I helped to organize a used instrument drive and fundraiser kickoff event for Good Time School of Music, which also included live performances from the Sinks, the Bad Luck Brigade, and my group consisting of myself, Dan, and Lydia. Recently, I've created an artist website, which can be found here, or wherever editing Sam decides to put it on the screen. And by the time you are watching this, my album will also be up, which you can find here. Throughout my time here at Fast Forward, I've also been working on completing the Broadcasting Technician Certification Pathway and several concurrent enrollment college classes. I'm also the valedictorian of the graduating senior class of 2020. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, many of my short-term plans have been put on hold. That said, I plan to continue to play local shows this summer as soon as it is reasonably safe to do so. I will also be starting at USU and going into a music or audio production program next year. More immediately, I plan on adding a few songs to my current album, which got delayed due to the pandemic. I also plan to continue to volunteer at Good Time School of Music as often as I can. Now, As there always is with multiple large projects, there are many people I would like to thank. To start, I would like to give a huge thanks to Ryan Conger. He taught me almost everything I know about audio engineering, and he has helped me to continue to push my skill in audio production and my musicianship. I also cannot thank Lydia and Danny enough, who've worked with me on the vast majority of my projects over not only this year, but last year as well. John Starn has helped me to develop my songwriting skills and also helped me to find joy in the inherently stressful experience that is performing an original song live for the first time. I would also like to thank Tyson Kazir, who is one of the main reasons I play at the level that I do. I want to give a huge thanks to my parents, who have been extremely supportive despite the many late nights I've spent working on projects or the many times I've hijacked parts of the house while recording. Last but not least would be the wonderful students and staff of Fast Forward who have, without fail, continued to encourage me to keep going. Now, I wanted to share a little bit more music in my presentation, so here's one of my first originals that I wrote called These Days in a fun new flavor, quarantine version. These days we're told, live a simple life. These days we're told, live our dreams. These days we're told, don't mind the smoke, 'cause that house is burning, burning down, and I can't sit and watch this fire. I can't sit and ignore the flames. I can't sit and wait for death. I can't sit and watch our world burn down. These days we're told this life must end. These days we're told the flames are coming. These days we need to change our fate, 'cause this house is burning, burning down, and I can't sit and watch this fire. I can't sit and ignore the flames. I can't sit and wait for death. I can't sit and watch our world burn down. Thanks for watching my presentation. In case you missed it, you can find my artist page and or Bandcamp here. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Lydia Conger. I'm a junior at Fast Forward Charter High School, and I'm 17 years old. This year, I had the opportunity to be a music ambassador. Like most people, music is a way to relieve stress, focus on tasks, and sort out thoughts. As many of you may have noticed by now, I have the same last name as Ryan. He's my dad. I grew up in a very musical household. There's rarely a moment not involving music in some way or another. Whether it's hearing someone practicing in the next room, listening to music while doing chores, or dancing around the house listening to throwback tunes, there's always music. Our family has a very explorative taste, ranging from futuristic 70s electronic albums to classic country. They all know how to play more than one instrument, and it's always fun when we work together and make music. Fast Forward Charter High School has so much to offer and an amazing faculty and staff to make sure that you utilize your time there. I had the ability to create a schedule that catered to my wants and needs. My junior and sophomore years, I was able to take 31 college credits and take courses that I wanted to take in my own time. In my spare time, I would join the music studio and be a part of the music performance classes and play with other students in the studio. One of these students was Sam Mikesell. Sam Mikesell also had a similar schedule to mine, taking concurrent classes, trying to get a 4.0, and it was stressful for both of us. So, together, we jammed in the studio, and it was a way for us to relieve stress and help each other out. And this led to me helping Sam record his album and playing at public venues around the valley. My first live recording set was with Sam Mikesell. He was on guitar and vocals, Dan Fields was on drums, and I was playing bass. We ended up doing multiple sets, and Sam ended up taking those recordings and turning them into an album for one of his projects. For more information on that project, Sam will be talking about it, or has talked about it, and there will also be links posted below. Now, my project. My project was made on Ableton using a variety of MIDI instruments, effects, and loops. This was one of my first tries at digital music, as I'm used to playing physical, like instruments and singing. As part of my collaboration with Sam, we played 2 fundraising concerts at public venues. Our first performance was the Fast Forward Canned Food Drive kickoff at the Cash venue. By the second performance, Sam had written and recorded most of the songs on his album. This performance was at Good Times School of Rock, where we collected donations for Good Times and its kids. Another one of my concerts I did this year was the 2020 Cowboy Rendezvous open mic. I played with the band Chasing Butterflies. This includes Melody Perry on mandolin and backup vocals, Holly Conger, my mom on guitar and lead vocals, and me on upright bass and backup vocals. Now I'd like to send out a couple of thank yous to everyone that has helped and been a part of my journey. First, I want to thank Ryan Conger for providing a studio with professional equipment, helping me achieve this ambassadorship, letting me spend my spare time in his classroom throughout the school year, and last but not least, being an awesome dad. I also want to thank Sam Mikesell for choosing me to be his bass player, helping me meet the requirements for this ambassadorship, and inspiring me to take concurrent classes and keep up with music simultaneously. I want to also thank Good Times School of Rock for providing an awesome venue for our performances. I want to give a thank you to Andy Lormer and crew for video recording our performances and posting them on YouTube. I want to thank Sandy Hepworth for helping me have the ability to take concurrent classes and support me throughout that journey. I want to thank Karen Christensen for helping me create a schedule in which I could maximize what Fast Forward has to offer. I want to thank Jill Lowe for having our school provide this scholarship and keeping the school in check. I want to thank Sarah Anderson for making sure I finished all of my required credits and had resources as I transitioned into college life. Dan Fields for being a super cool music mentor and drummer for me and Sam. Holly Conger for being a supportive mom and attending all of my concerts since day one. And my grandparents for supporting me and being a driving factor in my musical journey.
Well, this has been a great event. We would have all preferred to have done this in person. However, we are grateful that you're tuning in to support these kids. This has been a great year for the ambassadors. It is now my privilege to introduce the video ambassadors of the year. We have Daniel Vega and we have Frederick Ball. These two have done amazing work this year, which you're about to see small snippets of it, but they've done amazing work. They've led crews, they've been great directors, they have just done amazing things. However, the most important thing is that they're good people. And I'm gonna miss them here at the school, and I wish them best with all the future holds. And their futures are bright. They're gonna do amazing things. Just keep in mind, we're only going to see a small segment of their projects, just because we don't have enough time in this platform to showcase all of it. We do hope to have some opportunity in the future to screen them. We were planning on renting out a movie theater to do so, which we'd still love to do, but unfortunately right now it's not an option, but just stay tuned. Anyway, first we'll hear from Daniel, and then Frederick. Take it away, Daniel.
Hi, I'm Daniel Vega. I'm a video ambassador. I'm 16 years old. It's great being a video ambassador for Fast Forward, and it's something different that I never expected to do. And to lead off, I'd like to start with showing you what got me into being a video ambassador, and it's this video, which is my mom's documentary video.
Tuvimos que tomar la decisión de irnos de aquí y irnos a Texas para estar como familia. Pues la vida en Texas fue muy dura. Estuvimos batallando mucho.
So this documentary video was my submission to try and become the video ambassador first of all, and this video is sort of special to me because it was a special time in which we had to relocate from living in Logan to living in Texas, and filming and recording that video was a different experience altogether, because it was a video that really taught me that you don't necessarily have to have the best equipment to make a very compelling video, because that video was shot in this very living room, and it's not the best video, but it's honestly a great video that it's just really affects people in ways that I never would have dreamed of, and I just really appreciate the support that people give to that video, and it's just a living testament to how a story is more meaningful than a good production value or necessarily like the greatest things. And to lead on, next off, I'd like to go on to being a DP, or the director of photography, for one of Frederick's films, in which we used a film camera, which was something very different because I've never worked with one, and it's surreal working with one of them because it's just, there's nothing like working with an actual film camera and going back to the roots of film, because there's just a magic to working with one of those old cameras, because you hear the shutter going as you're recording.
Cut! Alright, that's a wrap!
And you experience what it would have been like, the difficulties, because you never really know whether you're getting a good shot or not, because it's all based on measurements, because we had to measure the length from the front of the camera to the talent, and we had to dial that in, and then based on how much light was on the person, we had to adjust that too. And you just never really knew whether you were getting a good shot or not. And I remember sometimes I did mess up by leaving the camera in the wrong position, so leaving the lens in the wrong position. So we had to do a few retakes because of that. And even loading the film is kind of difficult in and of itself, because if you expose it to too much light, then it'll expose and you won't get a good reel because it will be destroyed. So you have to be wary of that. So it was a different experience overall. I really enjoyed it because it was really fun, and I cherish that experience because it was something different. And finally, I'd like to show you a clip from my upcoming film. I haven't really decided on a name yet, but here's a small clip.
You may be wondering how a man of my position ended up in such a predicament. Well, it's a long story.
I have a problem, detective, and I believe you can help me.
Alright, so now that you've seen the clip, I hope you're excited for it. And my film was really interesting to make because it's something I had to write myself and figure out how it would work together with how filming it would change the vision I had in my head. Working as a director in your own film, you get to manage how you want it to come out, and you make changes based on what is possible to film. And it just is very different compared to what I was before, which was a gaffer. So I just lit scenes instead of actually directing. And once I got to directing, it was very, very, very different from just being somebody who works under a director. And trying to make everything work together is kind of like trying to put pieces of a puzzle in just like a huge 1,000 piece puzzle, and it just takes time and effort. And based on how much effort you and those around you put into recording and acting and lighting, and based on all that effort put together, you get your final result. And for me, I would like to thank everybody who worked on that film with me, because everybody was honestly a big help. Even though sometimes it just felt like we didn't get anything done that day, it was a great experience overall because we ended up bonding over a film that I made, and it was just a great bonding experience overall for the people that were working so close with me. Before saying goodbye, I'd just like to thank everybody who has helped me along the way, because you are what makes it possible, because I couldn't have honestly done this by myself. I'd like to thank Jill for helping me get to where I am today and for giving us this opportunity to be ambassadors. And I'd like to thank my teacher, Andy, because he's the one that pushed me to become an ambassador, and he's the one that helps push me to become better. And I know that I need to start doing that myself, even though it may be difficult, but he pushed me a lot to try and make the best of what I had and try to fine-tune everything to where I thought it would be best and where everything would work well together. And I'm just glad to be an ambassador and be a role model for whoever may come after me. And I'm just glad I have this opportunity to express who and what I am and what I enjoy to do, because at the end of the day, this is something that I enjoy doing, and it's an experience that I would not trade for anything else. And with that, I'd like to leave you guys. Bye.
I don't know how to I'm supposed to introduce myself. I don't know.
What's your name? Trying to help out here.
Hey there, my name is Frederick Ball. I'm a student and the video ambassador at Fast Forward Charter High School. To finally be here, being an ambassador, presenting this to you of what I've learned throughout my ambassadorship, this is the culmination of 4 years of work. I'd like to start with a video me and Ethan Irwin made. I think this is the best stop motion that I've ever put together because it was very fluid, and in order to do that you have to take a lot of pictures, and so it's very difficult to get fluid looking stop motion. You have a whole different world to play with because you can defy physics with stop motion. So I learned a lot doing that with Ethan. Now the next thing I'd like to talk about is an elementary school project that me and Daniel, the other video ambassador, worked on for Hillcrest Elementary.
My story is about a cat and his owner name is Olive, and one day something takes Olive and he has to try to save her.
So one day, Kyle the Egg found a friend named Eli, and he was a human, and then one night they were watching their favorite movie together and he got lost.
We worked with these kids who had wrote stories and drew some pictures. We put them on a green screen and then we put them from there into their pictures where they told what their story was about. And it was a really fun project. On the technical side of things, it wasn't something that I haven't done before, compositing a green screen out and placing characters into a different environment than what they're originally in. I really enjoyed working on it with the kids though, because it's a sense of wonder that you're kind of like nostalgic about. Like, you see these amazing special effects when you're a kid and you're like, movie magic, oh wow, how'd they make that look real? And then when you're actually putting it together yourself, you notice all the little details and you're like, oh shoot, this doesn't look right. But you know, you send that off to the kids and you're still worried like, oh, this doesn't look right. Those kids get that video and they're like happier than can be because they just get to see themselves like inside their drawing. And so it's a cool experience, and it makes you like really kind of realize like being nitpicky about certain details can be good, but isn't always necessary to bring about the wonder and excitement of video and movie magic. The next project I'd like to talk about is my motion picture film, Children's Dream. Being able to work on a motion picture project has been a dream of mine ever since I learned it was something we did at the school my freshman year. I was so excited, and I have been waiting for the opportunity for all my years at Fast Forward, and it finally came. A lot of the shots turned out great and amazing, and it's just like, it goes to show how important your crew is, which is something I have a hard time. I like to work alone a lot. Sometimes I feel like it's hard to know what other people know and what they're good at. And so you think, okay, well, I know that I'm good at this, so I'm gonna do this and this and this. But working on a crew helps show me how important it is to have a crew. And that leads me to my final project. I hate myself.
And this is actually a prime lens. It's a 24 millimeter, and you can tell it's 24 because right here on the edge, right here, would you mind getting the door? So it's 24 millimeter, and that's the focal length of this lens. Oh, hey, Grant, how can I help you?
I'm just here delivering some papers to you from the office.
Are you the TA first hour?
No, I don't have a first hour. I was just here early and thought I'd help out.
That's very kind of you. There you go, class. There's an example of a true fast-forwardian, right there.
This film will be the true culmination of everything I've worked for at Fast Forward. It is a show of who I am and what I'm capable of, and it is a show of what I've accomplished, what I've reached these past 4 years. And it was amazing that, you know, we got to that point. I had a small crew for it, and they put forth as much effort as I did because they cared about what the project was about. When you have a really good crew standing behind you who believe in what you're working on, then you have the ability to create something beautiful. And the story is a hard story, but what I created, what we created, me and my crew, what we created is beautiful. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better DP. I couldn't have asked for a better actor. All of those people who worked on it mean a lot to me. And I think it was very important to see that even on a small crew, if you're very passionate about what you're working on, then you don't even need to worry, because you can just say, let's get this done. They're gonna believe in you, you're gonna believe in them, and it's gonna turn out perfect. The ambassadorship has been a very long journey for me, and it's the closing of the biggest chapter of my life thus far. And I'm excited to see what the next chapter has in store for me. But in the meantime, I'd like to take this time to thank the wonderful principal of our school, Jill, for allowing me to receive this scholarship. I'd like to thank Andy Lorimer for mentoring me and teaching me for the past 4 years, for always encouraging me. I'd like to thank Jordan Browning for being a wonderful teacher. I'm gonna miss you. I'd like to thank Shandy Chambers for teaching me to love myself and to respect myself and to also respect others. I'd like to thank Paul Jameson for showing me how important it is to have passion and enthusiasm for the work that you're doing. I'd like to thank Aaron Harris for showing me how important it is to be around people who care. And I'd like to thank Karen Christensen, the wonderful counselor at our school, for being there every day and letting me know what I'm capable of. And I'd like to thank Teddy for always being someone to talk to. And I'd like to thank Fast Forward for being here with me for an interstellar year.
Thanks for watching our program today. We're sure grateful for all of those that have helped. I'm grateful for our teachers that have helped mentor these students. Without Ryan and Andy Lorimer and Andy Worrell, these students wouldn't have the ambassadorship program. And it helps them to connect real world job opportunities to what they're doing here in school. And I sure appreciate the teachers that mentor these students each year. And I'm proud of our students, Isaiah and Daxton and Lydia, Sam, Fred and Daniel, for the outstanding work and time they have put in to being art ambassadors for here at Fast Forward. These students will receive a $1,000 cash scholarship, and we sure hope that that will help them get on their way to bigger and better things in life, and to always remember all of the people that have helped them get to where they're at right now, and to pay it forward. That's kind of what our goal here is at the school, is to take what we learn here and pay it forward in our lives onto someone else. Our student ambassadors represent the school in the community. They represent their individual programs here in the school, and are very much the upper echelon of students at our school. They're hard workers and good examples to everyone, and I'm very grateful to have gotten to know all these kids, and I wish them luck.